let's introduce you, who you are, what is your name, where you're from, who I'm talking with.
Of course. So you want me to start, right?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to start. My name is Andres Vega. I'm from Colombia. Currently, I fly for a corporate jet company. I fly the Citation 10. And, well, at this time, I'm located at San Jose in California.
Cool. So if it's not the secret, how old are you?
I'm 34 years old.
34. And when you start your aviation training?
Back in the years, I started my training in 2015. I remember it was November 2015. I did that pretty quickly. I think that I did all my training from zero to commercial in about 6 months because I finished my training at SkyEagle in Florida. 2016, I think it was in May or June, I don't remember. Then I came back to my country in Colombia to convert my license, my FAA license, to the Colombian license.
Right. I remember you have been the fastest student when I start work for SkyEagle. When I started in 2015, and it was just first year of my ownership of the company, and you were probably one of the first students. I had a couple of more students from Argentina at the same time. Yeah, they also fly in corporate right now. Salas is flying, I don't remember, Learjet probably. Nicholas is flying something bigger. I don't remember exactly. Both of them in the corporate right now. I remember you did everything in 5.5 months with one break.
Yeah.
You did the break 2 weeks between private and instrument, as I remember, right?
Yeah, I remember I took a break for about 1 week or week and a half, and I remember my family came from Colombia to visit me during that training, and I went for Christmas just for 1 week, I believe, to my home country, and then I came back. And I remember that I flew a lot, and actually I flew with you, I remember, on like 24 December or 1st January, I don't remember which day it was, but like an important day, but I was like willing to fly every day, every time to get it done as fast as I can. But yeah, I was flying like every day from Monday to Sunday, all the time that I could.
Yeah, that's right. Since 2016 until 2024, it's about like 8 years. How was your career between 2016 and 2024? Why it took so long to be? You just crossed ATP mark, right? So you just 1,500 hours right now. Let's talk a little bit about this time between commercial pilot when you graduated in 2016 and today you're ATP. What happens in between?
Okay. That's interesting. So when I finished my training at SkyEagle in 2016, I ended up with 250 hours, which is the minimum to have the commercial license. Single engine, I remember. I didn't get the multi-engine by that time. And I came back to my country in Colombia. I was trying to apply for some airlines in my country, but that time was a little bit complicated because of some pilot strikes on the main airline, which is in Colombia right now. It's Avianca at this time, at that time that the pilot strike. And then after that, it was the COVID. And because of the COVID, it was a very hard situation to get a job at that time. Actually, I was signed up for a low-cost company. They flew Airbus A320, and I was in the process. I was like in the last step to get in and sign the contract with them, but then they shut down because of the pandemic. So I have another career, which is international business that I had before to be a pilot. So I was working in this career for a certain period of time in Colombia, but my dream was always to fly. So in 2021, after the pandemic, I decided to move from Colombia to the States, and then, I started doing my training.
How you built your hours up to 1,500? It was through the CFI program, or you did something else? I remember you skipped the CFI, right?
Well, in 2021, when I moved from Colombia to Florida back again, I was thinking to start doing my CFI training, but I stopped doing that because I was thinking, okay, I'm going to do first to get my multi-engine license, and then I will continue building my time. The way that I built my time was working as an aerial survey pilot. I was flying a Cessna 206, And I flew that plane a lot, but like a lot. I think that I made in that plane about 500 hours, something like that. So by the time I got about 700 hours, then I found another job, which was flying a caravan in a drop zone for skydivers in South Florida in Homestead. I didn't do much hours in that plane. Like, I don't remember how much, but yeah, I was working with them for a few. So flying this little airplane, the Cessna 206 and the caravan. And also I flew with some students as a safety pilot. And then that's the reason why I get this amount of hours. And by the time I got about 800, 900, something like that, I finished my training as a multi-engine pilot, and then I applied for this company I'm working right now. So close to the 1,000 hours, I start applying to those companies, and then I finally get hired to fly in this citation tent.
So you're super lucky. At 1,000 hours mark, you jump in the right seat in the citation tent, which is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's 46,000 pounds, as I remember from the top of my head, right?
36,000.
36,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It's really good. It's really impressive. How hard was to find a job for 206? Because I believe this aerial survey, it's not easy to find, or it's like easy.
No.
Did they pay you or you pay them?
Actually, at the beginning, I was thinking like, do I have to pay you to fly in this 206? But no, honestly, they paid me. They didn't pay me much. Roughly, if I can give you some numbers per day, either if I fly 1 hour or 6 hours in a day, it was the same. They pay me like, I don't remember, 300 a day plus expenses. I mean, they were in charge for your lunch and your transfer, and that's it. It wasn't too bad by that time because I didn't have any money at all. More than getting money, I was trying to build my time, to build my hours, So I say, okay, I'll take this job and I will fly this plane. And it was pretty interesting because we were based in FXC, in Fort Lauderdale Executive, there in South Florida. And then we used to take off from there and go like in the north of Florida, like Orlando, Jacksonville, and do the aerial training in those cities and came back. So it was the whole day. So sometimes I flew in a day, like let's say 8 hours per day. So it was a lot. And I found this job because the owner of the company, it's a guy from Honduras. So he speaks Spanish and he was looking for a pilot who speaks Spanish. I don't know why, and then I got into those companies because of that. And then they liked me and they hired me I flew with them for about a year, I believe.
It's not bad. It's really good. Okay, so great career path. And so you're going to be captain really soon, right?
Well, at this time, I've been flying the citation team for a year right now, a year and 2 months, something like that. I did my initial training and then I just got my upgrade training, which is kind of the recurrent training upgrade from SIC to PIC and then the ATP. That's why I get the ATP. So I got about 1,600 hours. If the company requires me to fly in the left seat, I can do that. I believe that legally I can do that. But I know the requirements to fly as a captain. That will be, I don't know, about 2,500 hours, 3,000 hours, something like that. But legally, I believe that I can fly as a PIC on the left seat. The company requires to do so.
Yeah, I think the huge problem will be insurance requirements because insurances, they want, I don't remember, 2,500, something like that. Yeah, anyway, it's going to be like a year, maybe two, and you're going to be in the captain's seat. So is it your dream? Your dream became true?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Honestly, when I was in Colombia, before to came back in 2021, as I told you, I work in a company in my another career. I was doing this in international commerce business. I was moving cargo. I mean, like a regular company. I worked for a freight forwarder and I went to different companies and I believe that I got the highest position in a company. My last job was as a country manager. I got about 30, 40 people on my charge. And then I was responsible to take the company from zero to have a profitable company. So it was a challenge for me. It was pretty nice. It was pretty cool. I was paid well. I earned a lot of money living in Colombia in that position, but it wasn't my dream. It wasn't that I wanted to do. I really wanted to fly. So that's why I say, okay, I'm going to quit this job. Even if I am in a really good position, I'm going to go to the United States, because I was thinking I can do this in another country in Europe and Central America, somewhere else. But I said, the United States, it's probably the best place for me, like to start and take a big step to go to the airlines. And yeah, here I am. After a few years of hard working, study a lot, because you have to study a lot to get this ATP, study the airplane. I think that I'm really able to fly this Citation 10 by myself, if there is the case. If, for example, the captain get unavailable to fly the plane, I will be able to fly it. I understand much more now how this kind of jets operates than before. And yeah, after that, I was thinking that, I can move over to the airlines or some cargo companies to fly either a Boeing or an Airbus. We'll see what's going to happen in the near future.
We are talking about now, so I have one question about your past and then one about the future, about the past.
Sure.
So have you dreamed to be a pilot for the whole of your life since the childhood, or since it just happened when you became an adult?
When I was 10 or 11 years old, back in the time, I have a brother. He's older than me. And I remember our first trip in an airplane. Our mother, she bought the ticket for my family, of course. And then it was my first time when I saw that plane. I was thinking, like, how is possible that piece of metals go into the air? Is not possible. I mean, for me, it was like kind of incredible. I remember it was a Fokker 800. I went into the airplane. I was a kid, and I went in the back of the airplane because it was supposed to have like a kids class by that time. And I was sitting next to the engine. It was my first headache that I have in my life, because you see, you have the engine right next to you. And then I was like 11 years old, but I have a really strong headache. I was looking at those plans and say, man, I want to do this my whole life. But then I realized that it was quite expensive to become a pilot. But well, after that, I got a loan. Actually, you helped me a lot. My brother, he helped me too, to get some money before to move to the United States to do my training. In 2015, I was living in France, and I was working with some other companies there in France, so I can take some money and put it into my training. So that's why I started doing my training. Yeah, this was a child dream. So now the dream becomes true.
Congratulations. Not many people in the world can say that, you know?
Yeah.
So we are really lucky, me and you and everybody who is doing the Chase the Dream.
Yeah. Thank you.
The second question about future. So you mentioned about some kind of Boeing or cargo. So do you see your expansion, your career to airlines? You want to go to airlines, or you want to stay in charter business in Part 135? What is your plan?
Well, that's a good question. And actually, yeah, there are two definitions: the Part 135, which is the corporate business world, and the Part 121, which is the airlines or cargo airlines. Honestly, I would like to go to the airlines. I would like to go through the Part 121. I'm still thinking either cargo or passengers. I think to have my mom a little bit proud of me, that will be passengers, because she's always telling me, like, I'm waiting for the day I'm sitting in the plane and you call me by the intercommunicator and tell her, like, hey, come to the first class or come to the cockpit and see me flying this plane. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen in the near future. Probably it's going to be the airlines. And I'm still looking around, and there are some good opportunities to see in 2025. Yeah, the next year.
Nice. So make your mom proud.
I will.
Tell a little bit to me and for all readers and who's watching this video about your workday, how it looks like, how many days you work on, how many days you're off, how's your day looks like. So I know you're in San Francisco right now. It's the second day, right? So it's your shift right now, and you're not flying.
Yeah. Well, in this kind of companies, they have different schedules, but in my case, it's 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. So we start every Tuesday, every 2 weeks. So I just started the last Tuesday, and on duty for about 2 weeks. The company can do pretty much whatever they want with us. I mean, they can send you to different destinations. Sometimes when there are many flights, we used to have like 2 or 3 legs per day. So let's say we can start in Baton Rouge in New Orleans. Last time I did Baton Rouge to Arcata, and then Arcata to Seattle, and then Seattle to San Jose, where I am right now. So it was 3 legs in a day. Mm-hmm. So I flew about 6.5 hours in a day. That's a good day. Sometimes we just have one leg, sorry. The maximum I think that I had, it was 4 legs in a day, 4 big legs in a day. In this charter company, we used to fly all the states, Canada, Mexico, Central America, the islands in the Caribbean. And it's like, we'll go like everywhere. And we are like on duty for those 15 days. But for example, today I'm here sitting in the hotel, but they can call us and tell us like, hey, we have an SAP flight. You gotta be ready like in an hour and go to the airport. That happens a lot. So that's how we operate. And then when we came to the airport, we start preparing the plane. We usually, let's say, for example, if we have a flight at 2 p.m., we used to be at the airport 1 hour and a half, 2 hours before the flight to start preparing the airplane. So usually what we do is go to the airport, check the documents, start the APU, clean it up the plane if we have to, check if we have our flight plans, how many passengers do we have, we are going national, international trip, what else, get the clearance about 30 minutes before our departure, and just be ready by the time the passengers show up. So we'll be ready to go.
Cool, thank you. What about your work and life balance? So you feel 15 days on, 15 days off is a good schedule. So you're pretty happy with that?
Yeah, well, honestly, in my case, I'm not married. I don't have kids. So for me, it's fine. But for any other pilot which has a family, someone waiting for you, your kids, your husband, your wife, you have to think about it twice. Because, 15 days out of your house, for me, it's fine. As I told, for me, it's perfectly fine. I don't have any problem at all. And I really enjoy this thing because we go to different destinations and we are able to know new cities. And then for me, it's perfectly fine. But for some other pilots, I heard that sometimes it's a little bit complicated to be away for 2 weeks. I know there are some other private 135 companies that they do 8 days on duty and 7 days off, something like that. Mm-hmm. But in my case, it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. But for example, in my case, 2 weeks on is fine because I know that I will have 2 weeks off to do whatever I want. And
like a vacation, like a small vacation.
Yeah. So sometimes I don't go directly to my house. And that is a good thing because at the end of your rotation, in my case, I live in Florida, but let's say if you finish here in California, you can ask to the company to send you wherever you want in the States. So if you have, I don't know, your family coming into New York and you want to meet them in New York, you just tell to the company like, hey, by the end of my rotation, don't send me home in Florida, just send me to New York. And then after that, I'll do whatever I want. Or sometimes what I do is like finish in Florida and I go to my home country in Colombia for a week or the 2 weeks and I came back to start my new rotation. So I know that I will have 2 weeks off for these little vacations.
Got it. Cool. So another question, how hard it was to be hired to this company? So you had a couple of interviews, chief pilot, I don't know, this kind of process, or it's like quick enough or what?
Well, in Part 135 companies, I believe it's a little bit easier, which is in an airline for sure. It's quite, to be honest with you, I remember I was in FXC and I saw the planes, I saw the citation tent. I wonder, like, who are the owners of those planes? And then I got a friend, I'm Scott.
Scott Leash, who is a hero of this YouTube channel, because I'm going to post this video on the same YouTube channel where Scott Leash is doing his lectures and lessons on SkyEagle. Yeah, he has like 25 lessons on my channel. And
you're right.
So he's famous on this YouTube already.
I know that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Scott. He was one of my CFIs when I did my training there at SkyEagle. And
he was my CFI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he taught me instrument and commercial.
Wow, that's nice.
2014 and 2015. Yeah, he was my instructor.
There is a lot of connections here.
Yep. So he was the first guy I met in SkyEagle.
My God.
Yep.
Again, he's a really good guy. I love Scott. And then we became more close. We became friends, and then I encountered him there in FXC once, and he told me like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I say like, "I'm start doing my multi-engine training." And then he told me like, "Listen, when you got your multi-engine training, go there to that hangar and ask for the chief pilot and bring your CVE and put it on his table and tell him like, hey, I want to work here." And that's exactly what I did. I started walking through that hangar, and I found the chief. Well, it wasn't the chief pilot. It was the director of operation by that time. And I went inside and I told him like, "Listen, you don't know me, but I went to work here. This is my CV." And then he was like, "Who the heck are you?" And then I told him like, "One of your pilots is a friend of mine." And he told me like, "Came here, probably you can give me a chance." I was pretty honest and direct to them. I told them that I got close to 1,000 hours, and the person told me like, "You can do like, I don't know, 50 or 30 hours, something like that." I told him, "Okay, I'll think about it. I'll try to reach those 1,000 hours before you hire me." So I did a couple of flights in Cessna 172. I didn't get 1,000 hours, but they hired me. They told me like, "Okay, you will start doing your training." That was last year in August, and they told me you will start doing your training in October, couple months after. Yep, that's what I went. I went with an interview with him, and then a couple of more interview with the chief pilot. They were looking my background, who I was, my medicals, if I had any check ride failures. I remember they asked me, and I didn't fail any check ride at all. Yep, that's it. I started doing my training in Wichita.
Cool. I failed 3 check rides, but they still hire me.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So when I started doing my training, I remember it was a whole month in Wichita at Flight Safety, and I started doing this training for the citation. Then it was my first jet. So you jump from a Cessna Caravan, Cessna 206, whatever, to a jet. Yeah. It's quite different. You know, it's very, very different because you are flying those gauges instrument through a glass cockpit is extremely different at the beginning. Could be a little bit hard, but I understood the plane very quickly, and they gave me the chance, and I was a little bit lucky because they told me like, "You are going to start your training in October," and by that time they told me that it was August, so I have like middle August and then September to start studying the airplane. So when I started my training, I was a little bit more prepared than other pilots. So it wasn't too complicated for me. But let me tell you that it was stressful, like a lot, because you are in a hard pressure the whole month, going to simulators, going to do quizzes, oral tests, because those people, they just want to make sure that you really know the plane and how to fly it safely. You know, so you gotta pass a check right in the simulator, and then they will give you your license, either PIC or SIC or both in the plane.
And you got PIC initially, right?
I got the SIC.
SIC.
Yeah, that's a little bit complicated, that thing, but I'll tell you really quick. I was supposed to have the PIC and the SIC. And I was prepared for that. And they told me, yeah, you are prepared for this, whatever. But my partner that I have in the simulator, this person was not able to, this person wasn't fully prepared to fly the jet. So the company decides to retire this person from the program. So I finished my training, not by myself, but I finished my training alone. I didn't have a partner on the simulator. So Flight Safety, they put me an instructor from Flight Safety to fly with me. And then because of that, they told me like, listen, because of this situation that you don't have a partner, that we have to put you a partner, which is a CFI from us. You just got to have the SIC for the first year. I said, okay, don't worry about it. So in the next year, which was last October, when I did my upgrade training, I got my PIC and the ATP. So through this last year, more than flying, I was preparing my ATP. And through the ATP, you know that you have to present the written exam, got the hours, of course, more than 1,500 hours, but it's not like just 1,500 hours. You need to have cross-country hours, nighttime, PIC, all that stuff. Yeah. And then, you become like eligible to present the ATP.
And you did ATP, CTP with us, right, at SkyEagle?
Yeah, and that was amazing. I did actually, I'm thinking back in the years, and I did my whole training with SkyEagle. I did private instruments, commercial single, multi-engine, and finally I did my ATP, CTP with SkyEagle. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. So this is going back, we're almost done. We are going back to initial training. I have two questions. What was the hardest part for you during the initial private instrument commercial? The toughest, the hardest, what you can tell, what you can recall?
The private.
Private, what was the problem? Ground school or ground portion of flying?
No, I mean, it was complicated because I didn't know anything at all about aviation. I just started.
And you never flew small planes before you enrolled to SkyEagle in 2015?
I just did one flight. I was living in France before to went to the United States for this training. And in the south of France, I took a lesson in a little airplane. It was like a Piper. I don't remember which plane it was, like a little airplane. And they took me for an hour to fly the plane and know the instruments a little bit. Of course, I didn't understand like nothing at all at that time. But yeah, for me, it was private. It was private to get my private license because it was a lot of information, a lot of books. And I will never forget my check ride. I remember that I did my check ride in FXC. We took off in a Cessna 172. I did my left crosswind, left downwind, and the examiner from the FAA, he screamed, he yelled at me like, you are in a I don't remember what he said. He told me like, you are in a prohibited airspace, something like that. And I told him like,
Charlie airspace. Maybe he said you're in the Charlie airspace from Fort Lauderdale International.
No, because I was flying to the left. He told me that I went to the Pompano airspace, something like that.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. So I told him like, no, I'm not. I'm not. And he was kind of a complicated guy. I believe that he was trying to fail me. I continued flying because he told me like, okay, continue flying. And I said, whatever. I zoom in it on the G430 and I told him like, look, I'm not in a prohibited airspace. I'm good where I am because I was paying attention at that time. But I remember when I was doing that check ride, I was nervous. I mean, it was quite complicated. And before of that, of course, I did my oral part, which was about, 5 hours, something like that, question by question by question. And I passed that. We went flying. And yeah, he asked me to do a lot of maneuvers. Besides of that, he was pretty big on the plane, so it was a little bit uncomfortable, two of us in a little airplane, but it was fine. I finished my check ride. He gave me my private license, but yeah, it was the most difficult part. Some people say that probably instrument rating is the most difficult. In my case, the instrument rating, it was fun. It was completely fun because you gotta fly with the hood or with those goggles that doesn't allow you to see outside the plane, just the cockpit, the instruments. It was nice. And I remember the check ride was you just took off and you put that thing on you and you see nothing outside. You just see your instruments. So you need to rely on what you are doing and rely on your instruments.
Yeah. Do you remember what was the name of examiner?
Yeah, of course. Nielsen.
Nielsen. It was Nielsen. Yeah, I thought so.
I will not forget that, man. Yeah. And Nielsen, he did my check ride too for commercial, yeah.
Okay, last question, but not the least one. So, it's actually two questions. I forgot to ask.
Sure.
The first question is, let's start from financial part. I know you spent a lot of money for your training.
Yep.
And nowadays it's much more expensive than it was when you started, because at the day in 2015 it was probably 50,000, something like that, or even less, maybe 40,000.
Maybe 40, 45.
Yeah, I remember 40, 45 because I put you in a simulator and you did a lot of time building and all the SIB we had So yeah, I remember, and we discussed kind of discounts. So it was definitely below 40. Nowadays it's probably close to 65, I would say, maybe 60. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. How much money you can get from the first year as a first officer in business aviation?
In my company, in a 135 company?
Yeah, in 135 company. Flying like Citation 10.
It depends, but about 85 in a year.
85 a year. 85,000.
And it's pretty cool for me because, as I say, when I fly, well, you have the rotation, 15 days on, 15 days off, which is not really 15 and 15. It's like 16, 13, something like that. But anyway, if the company requires you to fly in a day off, you can say yes or you can say no. You are not obligated to go and fly. But if you go flying in a day off, the company will pay you $1,000. So
a day.
The day. If you fly 1 hour or 6 hours, they will pay you $1,000. $1,000 and $80 for your per diem. So it's $1,080. So sometimes in my case, because as I told you before, I don't have kids, I don't have someone really to waiting for me at home, which is sad. I'm kidding. When I fly in my days off, if I told them, yeah, I'm going to do it, I can make a lot of money. I heard from some other pilots that they just tell to the company, like, listen, if you need me, call me. And sometimes the company calls those people to fly in their days off. And I remember a guy who made $13,000 in his day off. So he can make a lot of money flying in those days off. But of course, you need to work a lot.
So, I mean, what was behind my question? So you paid off your training in 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you may pay $60,000 in your training, in your career, let's say from zero to commercial in a year, which I believe is a standard right now. I don't know, probably a year and something. I did my training in 6 months because I was like very insistent with my training. But yeah, when you start getting a job, you can have this payback in a year, in less than a year.
Yeah. So it's a good job. It's a good job to be a pilot, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's completely worth it. And it's not just the money, it's the benefits. You can get more money sometimes when you fly with an airline. You can get free tickets. They pay you everything for your hotels, good hotels. They won't send you like a cheap hotel. No, you choose a really good hotels. They will pay you for your transportation, your food, everything. So yeah.
Health insurance and pensions, yes.
Yeah. They will pay you for your health insurance, other stuff they can pay you, but yeah, they will pay you for kind of everything.
Unless you work for Spirit and put in a bankruptcy, you can lose everything.
Yeah, that's another situation. Yeah,
I have resume from all of the people from Spirit last 3 days.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's complicated.
It's exactly what I want to say to everybody who's watching this video. Aviation is like always up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're on an upside, sometimes on the downside. Mm-hmm. Some days everybody wants to hire you and they get ready to pay any money just to hire you. But some days and years, you're just going to looking for a job and nobody will hire you. So this is ups and downs always.
That's right. And thinking about that, I was thinking if that situation happens to me, the best thing you can do is be prepared. It's continue studying for yourself. You don't know. Probably you will get a job. I'm flying the Citation 10 right now. Probably I will get a job, I don't know, in a Boeing, in an Airbus, something like that. I used to read often the regulations, how the regulations work for those kind of companies, 121 companies. But more than that, what I do lately is to get connected with some other pilots in the area. For example, a few months ago, I went to an event. I don't know if you heard about it, the LPA event in Orlando, which is Latino Pilot Association. Well, never mind. But there are many pilot associations that people just can go and get to know some other people, get connected, just get connection with some other people and be prepared. You don't know when any other airline or company will call you and have your CV updated, your documents updated, your medical updated, of course. And that's it.
Actually, it was my last question. What is your advice to new generation of pilots who is going behind you? So who is joining right now? But you already gave the answer. So I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, I know. I would say we have to be very disciplined, study a lot, learn a lot. If you can learn different languages, that'll be fine. I do speak English, French, and Spanish. Probably not as a native, not the best, but I do. And more than that, is to study a lot. Study a lot with weather, avionics, what else, communications, and get updated. These words change every day. So we just need to be updated. And get those connections that can probably take you to the next level in the future. What I found is that the aviation world, it's at the same time pretty big and pretty small because the person you talk today may hire you in the next future. And just be humble. You are a skydiver. I'm a skydiver too. And I remember a skydiver coach, he told me be humble because you don't know if you're going to have an emergency jumping from a parachute And I think that that's applied to this career too in aviation. You may find some people that because of we are pilots, we just need to have everything, and probably not. Just be a good person and be humble in this aviation world.
Good. Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm really proud to have you as my ex-student at SkyEagle Aviation Academy. And I'm really proud of your career. So congratulations one more time with your ATP. This is the highest level of pilots. So now you can just change your aircraft. So you can add new type ratings. As more type ratings you have, as more professional you are, more hours and more experience and more new countries, new cities, everything. I just wish you the best.
Thank you so much. And actually, to get this ATP, it took me a lot of study. The written test is about 1,500 questions you need to study to pass with 100 questions. It's a lot. And then you have to do your ATP, CTP, and then to get the chance to fly either a simulator of an airplane, getting you hours and get the ATP. It was hard, but it was worth it. And I thank you. You helped me a lot. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, man. So I hope to see you in the future. And thank you so much for your time today.
All right. Thank you so much.
Good luck, man.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.